Hello, and welcome to the Homewrecker podcast. I am the Golden Greek Alex Arion, joined as always by my beautiful, lovely, gorgeous, amazing trophy wife, the lovely Monique. Hi.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I am spectacular, thank you.
That's terrific.
Yes, it is.
I'm so glad that that is what you are.
As am I.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm pretty freaking good. I gotta say, yeah, pretty good. I'm pretty good. It's been an interesting few weeks.
Yeah.
But it's been good.
It's been like a whirlwind, kind of.
Yeah, we've had
Ups
some
and
crazy
downs,
stuff going
and
on
yeah.
for sure.
It's about finding the balance in it all.
Yes, that is true. Absolutely. No, I'm good though. I'm good. Still doing all the morning walks and everything.
You are
braving
rocking
the elements. Yeah, it's been fun. Trying not to slip and fall and break my back or my butt.
Break your bottom.
break anything. Yeah, it's very slippery out here.
Yeah.
In the mornings, especially when I go out. But yeah, no, it's been good. It's been good. Yes, I find that like the only peace anymore that I get is when I'm out in nature. You know, like even in our own home. It's just tough to have any like real silence.
With 3 kids, it is difficult unless one of us is doing something with them.
Not even just that, but I mean, even like I wake up in the morning most mornings before the kids are up. It's not even that. It's just even in the house. Just I mean, even right now, I'm listening. I hear like the fridge.
Yeah.
It just I don't know. You know, yeah, just like actual peace.
I think
quiet and the sounds of nature are just so relaxing and
that's
peaceful.
the thing, the sounds of nature.
Yeah.
It's different compared to just silence.
Yeah.
So you find that relaxing, you find that peaceful, compared to somebody in a silent house might prefer that than outside and birds and
oh yeah, no,
wind.
for sure. Yeah, I'm just saying, like for me, that's why I said I find.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. But yeah, just yeah, that's about it. What's going on with you? What's new?
Yeah, just the craziness of the past couple weeks, and I started going back to school for something, and it's awesome, and I can't wait to share it with everybody.
Tremendous.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a lot of hard work, but it's so cool. It's so fun.
Yeah, but I mean, anything in life that is worth having or worthwhile requires hard work, right? In order for you to achieve anything worthwhile, you got to work hard for it.
Yeah.
You got to earn it, achieve it, and that's when it's really satisfying is when you put in all the hard work and then you get that reward at the end.
Yeah.
For
well,
sure.
Yeah, I'm trying not to be overwhelmed because I need to put in so many hours for my schooling, but then I need so many outside hours of work and study, so it's a combination of hours that I need, but it's like if I look at it as all of that, it can become overwhelming, so I just kind of every day work on it and learn and study, and it's fun. It doesn't become overwhelming when I just kind of break it down to day by day, so... I really love what I'm learning. So.
Yeah, it's awesome. I told you earlier, you impress me more and more every day. It's amazing because we've been together now for, how long have we been together for?
Is it going to be 12 years in the fall?
Really? It's been that long, huh?
Yeah.
Amazing.
This November will be our 10-year wedding anniversary.
Wow, yeah. Jeez, time flies. That's insane. Wow, yeah, it's great. But yeah, it's true.
So I'll share.
What?
He told me he's amazed by me more and more each day because I did a review for somebody on Etsy. I read it to him.
Yes, that's why I'm amazed because you wrote a review online. No, that's not.
Well, because of how I wrote it? Like,
it was your verbiage, the wording you used. You were very creative. I appreciate things like that.
From the girl who's always like, words are hard.
I thought it was. Anyway.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
See what happens when I
No, I appreciate
Give you a
it.
compliment.
I appreciate your truth. And
No,
to speak
but-
my truth, any Office fans.
Yes.
I
Outstanding.
love popping you.
Yeah.
So, first of all, we keep forgetting this is our 100th episode.
and I meant to say when I meant to mention it in the opener, and I completely spaced it again as I just started blabbing on about whatever I just blabbed on about. Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's more than 100 though.
Well,
Because
yeah,
we've
if
had
you
all
don't,
these,
this is our
bonus
100th
episodes, but-
regularly scheduled episode.
Sure.
If you don't include all of our bonuses. With
That's
all
a
of our
hell of a
bonuses,
streak.
it's a lot.
It's a hell of a
Yeah, we've
streak.
gone every week.
Every Wednesday.
We haven't, knocked
right?
on wood, haven't missed one. We
Thankfully,
have
not
our
yet.
bonuses, and yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll put out occasionally some extra stuff. I know we put out a bunch when the whole pandemic nonsense happened last year.
Yeah, that's fun.
And yeah, cool.
Yeah, we've been able to meet
100
so many awesome
episodes.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially lately.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The connections we've been making and the people we've been
And our special
Talking
guest
to-
today.
awesome.
So
Awesome.
last week we mentioned we wanted to get a specific person on our show, and we didn't reach out to him.
Well, we hadn't reached out to him yet.
Yes.
When I mentioned it, I was just
at the
mentioning
point
it.
of recording,
Right. Yeah.
we hadn't
exactly.
mentioned it. So I think it was like later that day
Yeah.
or the next day, I messaged him and he said yes.
Yes. And that's who we're talking to today.
Yes.
Yeah. He goes by the name Rambo, which is a fantastic 80s movie.
Mhm.
Well, actually, there was 80s, and then
And 90s. Did they do
90s.
it?
and then wasn't there another one in the
Newer
2000s, and then there was just one that came out like last
can't
year or
keep
the year
track.
before. Anyhow, Rambo's an awesome movie character, so a great name. A great guy, though. Great guy. He goes
Better
by
than the movies.
Yeah, much
Person is way better than the movies.
Yeah, absolutely. And he goes by the Twitter handle Seek Truth 101.
Seek the truth.
Seek the Truth 101. Excuse me. My goodness.
It's okay.
I recommend everybody go and check out his Twitter feed
Mhm.
because there's just mind-blowing stuff
Oh
on
yeah, absolutely. And if you haven't checked out the Human Vibration episode, watch it, hear it beforehand, because that will kind of it
Yeah,
comes up in
they
this
kinda
episode
go-
as well.
Yeah, and they kind of go together.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, I was like they go together hand in hand.
yeah, well, I mean, they complement each other.
Yes,
This is-
they
is-
do. They
that's
complement
what I
each
meant to
other
say.
quite well.
Yes, absolutely. And yeah, just his Twitter, it kind of, I discovered it about 6 months ago.
Mhm.
I think, and we talked about it in our interview as well. And I was just like, okay. And it just got me thinking and started, looking at things through a completely different lens
Mhm.
than I had been. And I mean, I pretty much already knew everything's bullshit anyway, but to the extent that everything was bullshit and
Yes.
everything was fake, this helped me just look at it completely differently. And like the combination of finding Rambo's Twitter and then Human Vibrations Twitter
Mhm.
and kind of going through and
Yeah.
just completely like blew my mind, obviously.
Yeah.
Like I've mentioned that before to you.
And I just want to say Murph is another one.
Yeah. He's
Yeah, we want to get on our show as
Yeah.
well.
He's
So
another,
just kind of the little trifecta.
yeah, another one that just putting out just great information and just great thoughts, I guess,
Yeah.
is probably a more accurate way of putting it, because anything that they're putting out, it's their thoughts, their ideas, but they're also giving proof, if you will.
Yeah, they're
kinda,
showing us stuff.
right, yeah, and it's just it's the most effective way, I think, that you can get somebody who is, I hate using the term asleep, but somebody that's
Not as conscious.
yeah, I guess. I mean, I guess asleep is probably the best way of putting it, but who is not awake to and aware to what is going on in the world. People that are still watching mainstream media and getting their news from that and looking up to celebrities and
believing it,
politicians
yeah.
and believing everything that they say and
Mhm.
thinking that they somehow have their best interests at heart. Trying to get those people to see differently is a lot of times it's like banging your head against the wall, right? I think that the and you know me, I'm not a big social media fan, but it's really great for this because you have people that can actually put their thoughts out there, and then they can give you visual proof and evidence, and especially the way we're all wired today.
Yeah.
The perfect medium, the perfect way to do it.
They do an
is the
excellent
way
job.
that they're doing it.
Yeah,
they,
and not just that, but I feel like with these people, they've allowed us to connect to other people, and I just think it's like where we felt like something wasn't right, something didn't fit, and now we feel like, okay, this is it. So for us, we just feel like this is a fit for us in terms of what we've been feeling, because it's really hard to pinpoint when you're watching something, you're like, something doesn't feel right, something's off, but you can't quite figure out what it is. And this just kind of opened the door for us and allowed us to see that, oh, okay, that makes sense for us. And it won't make sense for everyone, and that's okay. We just ask that you be open to it, you know?
Yeah, it's like you've said it a million times in the past. We don't want to tell anybody what to think. We just like putting information out there. And if it's something that requires research, do your own research. Don't take my word for it. Don't take Monique's word for it. Don't take a guest word for anything. Look into it yourself. And I know we say it all the time, and we're not the only ones that say it. I mean, so many people say, do your own research, do your own. But who does? Very few people, no matter how much they hear
We've
it,
tried
actually
to push
go
people
and
to do it, and they don't.
Yeah, so it's kind of one of those things where nobody's going to do it unless they want to, but it's not a disclaimer to say do your own research. It's like genuinely us saying, this is how we feel. We came to this realization in a certain way.
Yeah.
Do your own research so you can get there too, and you can find it and feel it the way we do.
But like I've said a million times, we're all on our own path, so if it's not resonating with you, that's okay. You know, maybe it will at some point, maybe it won't. It's okay.
Absolutely.
And if it does resonate with you, that is awesome.
100%.
Yeah.
So I think we'll stop blabbing for now. We'll get to our interview, and we'll come back after the interview, and we'll blab a little bit more.
All right.
What do you say? So
love it.
Here he is, Rambo. Enjoy, everybody.
All right, we're here with Rambo. And for our listeners who aren't familiar with who this person is, you can find him on Twitter at SeekTheTruth101. And let's get into it. Hi, Rambo. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, Monique. Alex, thanks for having me on.
Awesome, man. Awesome to have you. So I found your Twitter account, geez, it's got to be maybe 6 months ago. I can't even remember, but I was just dabbling, messing around on Twitter, and I don't even know how I came across your account. Somebody must have retweeted something or whatever, and I'm like, all right, what is this? Like, what is going on? And you had it was latex, I think of Tom Hanks maybe. I can't even remember now, but it was like latex makeup, and it was showing basically like an actor wearing like the prosthetic makeup or the the masks, and I'm just like, what the hell? And the tweet was something along the lines of, "Nothing we see is real," and I'm like, what? What is it? Like, just blew my mind because I've always been into conspiracies and stuff like that. I mean, that's like mostly what we talk about on our podcast, and I've never once considered that. Whoa. I'd never once, no, don't worry about it. It's all good. I'd never once considered that maybe everything is fake. Like nothing that we've ever seen is real. And now that I've been, I mean, how did you come to this realization and figure all this stuff out?
Well, my journey started with, as with a lot of people, 9/11 really, and that kind of got me thinking, but I never really concentrated very much on it. And then back in 2017, the Q thing popped up, and that was kind of the start of it for me. And I went through the same journey as so many other people with the Q and following the drops and all over the show, and then watching different. I like listening to different podcasts and watching videos on YouTube. I started to come to my own conclusions of, are these people? How can they put all these people through this public, like? Tom Hanks was the first person that got me thinking about this, and how could they put him through everything? And just keep on going with his story of he's a pedo and all this kind of stuff. And that's what got me thinking. Is like, is he just acting this? Is he just playing a part in all this story?
Yeah.
And the more I looked at it, and the Hollywood magic, the disguises and stuff, I just started to think that it's not real. He's playing a part, and this is why they can take him everywhere. And they even got him a passport in a different country in Greece, and that was the final nail for me. It's like they basically took us all on this journey, and they're still continuing it now. You know where they're going. The story's not over with Tom Hanks just yet, and it's the same for a lot of characters. Then I started to look at like people like the Bill Gates when all this Corona come up and everything. He's like, is the computer guy, is the billionaire, is the vaccine guy, the eugenics guy, Impossible Meats guy, and it's similar. You can take these people and do whatever they want with them, basically, because they're not real. In my opinion, is that the digital and Hollywood have made movies full CGI, and they've told us about it. And we believe, because we're seeing these people on TV and it's knocked down as being in a movie, that the
Oh, you're having some audio difficulties. That's okay.
yeah, it's an audio issue. Yeah. So with I started getting onto like digital humans and looking into that kind of stuff. You know, this GAN's technology, these computer-generated faces, it all started kind of come really quickly. Of like, hang on a minute, that's how they're doing it. You know, these basically they're not real people. So I started looking into. I started tweeting it out like I don't think these people are existing and stuff, and then people are saying like, well, I've met him and I've shook his hand and stuff. And then I started to think about these movies like Tropic Thunder, for instance, and where they played Robert Downey Jr. as a black guy, and if they didn't tell us about that he was the black guy, we would have never. They could have told us it was a brand new actor, and we would have believed that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And after a while, it's like. I just went really deep looking into Hollywood prosthetics, Hollywood CGI, everything, and to the point where that's all I can see as it is now. And then I come across Human Vibration. He's also into similar things as well, and it kind of brought a lot of what I believe together for me after having a conversation with Human Vibration about these non-existent people. It all kind of started to make sense for me, you know, that when these people are saying, oh, I've met Bill Gates or I've met Tom Hanks, they've only met the actor, I believe, playing that character, you know. So if you're meeting him and no one's ever met him and gone for dinner with him and gone to his house, you're meeting him from a distance, or you might shake his hand, and the first thing you're going to think is, oh, that was him. You're not going to think that you don't. It's not really him, and it's just an actor put on for the public appearance, so you believe it's real, and it brings all these characters into reality. So, like with Tom Hanks, we've watched the guy grow up we've literally watched him grow up on TV through all the movies from Big all the way through.
Yeah,
and that's kind of what it is. I think it's a movie. We're watching a movie outside of the movies, and that's for like politics, that's entertainment, everything is they're all tied in, and they all get involved in politics. All these celebrities get involved in politics, and it's because it's all one big entertainment for us. You know, it's keeping us up. We're all watching it at all times and all talking about it, and at the same time, they're influencing our fashion, our likes and dislikes, and we're just following these characters that have been made heroes in a movie, and then there's become influential characters outside of the movie, but I don't believe they are who we think they are, basically. I think the whole thing is a Hollywood production outside after the movies are over.
Yeah.
They're continuing to use that character they built up within the movie to influence all our lives.
Now, do you have before you got into this, did you have any knowledge about computer graphics, the things that they use, like that you had anything, or did you have to immerse yourself and learn everything?
I've just learned as much. I feel like I've watched that much of it that I feel like I can spot it myself now, because I've watched so many breakdowns. It's 3 years worth, of like watching it. So it's how it started it was through like a certain YouTube channel that I started. It just popped up, where it's like watch next, and it come on like all these computer graphics. I was like, it all started adding up. Then I've come across Human Vibration, and then that was it. Then it was. I first fired off a message to her about I'd seen on the BBC News somebody reporting on the Black Lives Matter protest, and it wasn't real. I've still got the post on me Twitter. That's like one of my first posts, and it was what I would call a digital human. So I've done like some background checks on her and checked her out who it was, and it was the same right across everywhere, just like black eyes, talking like a robot, basically. And the news reporter, what really struck me, the news reporter got a name wrong, and she didn't correct him. She just carried on talking, as though she was being typed into, reading off just not reading a script, but it had been pre-recorded into her to speak live on the TV, and she couldn't correct him on the name because that wasn't in the script to get the name wrong. Wow. And then we come across the colours of the purples and stuff, and then it just went from there. It just took me to a whole nother level again. And between myself and Human Vibration, we like sending like, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? Like sending these purples, like there it is again, there it is again. And before we knew it, it was like all starting to fall into place of what it actually was, And it was like the colours of deception. That's what we call it now, don't we? So
yeah.
Did you get like a gut feeling when you used to look at stuff before you really trained your eyes? Like, did you get like a gut feeling? Because I feel like I'll watch stuff and I just get this feeling inside, like something's not right. Something's off, something's wrong.
Yes, like a gut feeling. And I used to get angry at these videos and I'd be annoyed, like, oh, how are they getting away with this and all this? And then the day, it was like a day of realizing it was like, I feel like there was a grieving process of it. Like I couldn't believe that everything had been following to, like all the Q stuff is all fake. Like it just hit home like, boom, there it is. It's all fake.
Yeah, we've done episodes. Sorry, go on.
It's okay. From then on, I've just been learning, and I feel like I'm always learning something new every day. Even like, I'm watching the news now just to train my eyes, really. To see how much it's fake. And I feel like you see the colours, and then I try to look for the symbolisms and stuff because they're all there. Sure. I feel like it's just a layer on top. So with again, like thinking it's like a setup, because that was what I used to believe it was all like set up to cover these child traffickers and stuff. Like I used to think it was all set up to hide that it is there and they are doing it and stuff. But now I just believe it's just one big, like a loose trap, just to get us all involved, all following it around everywhere. And it's getting up. I believe that there's they do something to extract our energy basically. And I feel like that is something they're doing by showing us all these horrific things, and across, it's even mainstream now, isn't it? It's like, I feel like that is the reason behind it all nowadays. That's what I feel like it is. It's all fake. Everything, the news, the TV, everything on it is a balance of energy from us. So they'll show us the good things, and they'll also show us the bad things, and it's from the energies that they want, from us.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to bring up 2 points because we talked. One is like if you go throughout, we've had this podcast for about 2 years now. We talked about the moon landing. Is it fake? We just had an episode like dinosaurs aren't real. And a lot of these things, as you put the information out there, you're like, okay, so it's fake. But I feel like for me personally, there's a disappointment. You feel let down, like that sucks because you want to believe in the magic of it. You want to believe like, this is so cool that this happened. But it's like once you accept it, like, okay, it's fake. oh well, move on, it starts getting easier. At least for me. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah. No,
Definitely.
It's
That
like,
kind of brought me a lot of peace in seeing that it is fake, and that is the only way I could describe how I feel right now. I just never felt so peaceful, that I'm not being caught up in all this. Because imagine believing all this that we're seeing at the minute, you'd be worried to death,
yeah.
You'd probably not sleep at night thinking of these images of everything that's going on, And I'm just like, it's all fake. And if I'm wrong, then it doesn't really matter because I feel completely at peace with what I believe,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The other point too, touching on that, is I'm an empath and I feel everything. And once I've really, when Human Vibration was on, I was telling her last year, very early 2020, I was really starting to awaken, and I was like, I feel like there's a spell put on us. And I did like a reversal. Yeah. Oh, don't worry about that. I feel like it was so I did a reversal spell because I was just like, there's a spell trying to make us see things that aren't really there. It's like a curtain in front of us. They don't want us to see what's really there. They're showing us what they want. And like I was explaining that to her, and like with everything with this spell, and it's one of those things where I mentioned it's disappointing, but then you get over it, and then you start to realize, like for me personally, being an empath, I was like, I don't get upset anymore. I thought I was becoming very apathetic. And I was like, am I losing what it is to be an empath? But when I'm actually with real people, I can feel that emotion. But scrolling through Twitter, we don't watch the news, but if, something came up, online that we saw, movies, things that like like these documentaries are fake with an agenda, I don't feel anything. And I feel like that's my tell. That's my, this is not real because I'm not feeling emotion. I'm very apathetic.
What's inside, it's a feeling inside, isn't it? And people kind of forget that you can have a gut, like gut intuition, that it is fake, and you don't have to be able to prove it to anybody really. You just know, that. And that's where I'm at the minute. Like, I just feel like it's sometimes difficult to prove, but I just feel like I know deep inside when I'm watching like these murder documentaries on Netflix, and there's a recent one now where the guy like puts two kids in like an oil drum or something. I've seen that one recently, and it's just all to get your negative energy and put these thoughts into your mind, really. And that is what I see from it, is just to put these horrible thoughts constantly into your mind. So we're bringing it to life by believing it, and we're all talking about it, and it's just spreading. And that's why I believe in with some sort of energies coming from us. And I can't prove that, but you kind of feel it if you're in a crowded room or a crowded town, and you can sometimes feel somebody looking at you. And that is what I feel like. There's an energy there. You can look around and you'll see that they're looking at you, and it's kind of like that, like an energy that spreads across us all. And I feel like some energy vampires are on us, and that is what they give us through the TV and through everything that comes through the screen. I feel like everything that comes through the screen is for those reasons, to alter our emotions at all times. So they can give us good stuff, but they can also give us bad stuff. It's like a balance of energy.
Exactly. I was going to say, you need a balance because you can't have bad all the time. You have to like sprinkle in glimmers of hope. Otherwise, like, then what's the point? People say, well, what's the point? It's just miserable. Why do I care? You have to put those hopeful things. So to keep people, to keep them caring, to keep them invested. That's what I think. But.
Yeah. I posted some recently about like animals and these little cute animal videos and stuff. And that again is the balance of you're loving, oh, look at that. And you're not looking at it's fake, or why would they fake it? People say to me, why would they fake that? And the reason is because you think it's real, so that's why they fake it. You think that is real, and you don't see any point in why they would fake it, but that's because they've only ever shown us fake. That is my belief, and we're conditioned to that as reality. The people stroking a donkey, there was one of the woman stroking a donkey. To me, I'd have seen it as fake straight away. People like, oh, well, why can't you enjoy something like that? And it's because it's fake. it's fake. So I can't. Not that I'm not. There's nothing to enjoy. It's not real.
I saw one a few days ago, and it was supposed to be really cute, but I just remember watching it being like, I can't enjoy this because it's obviously not real. And it was weird because that was the first time watching a video on my own, like a good, cute animal, hopeful video, where I was like, this is fake. Again, that feeling. And I'm like, this is fake. And then I was like, yeah, I can't enjoy it. So I just kind of like, whatever, kept moving along. But I think, like, what would you say for people who are listening who are still really new to this? Like, what would you say to them in terms of the emotion that they might be feeling throughout all this, throughout realizing like there is a lot of fakeness put out there? Like, do you have any like advice for those people, like before we start getting deeper, like to brace them for our conversation?
How I see it, I see it as all fake until I can prove it real. And that is the best way to look at it. You can't get any emotion if you're looking at it as fake, and then you can write, right, it's fake, but I'll start to let me see why I think this could be real. And I can never seem to find why. And obviously, again, the colours purple, I seem to pop up they're everywhere you look, everywhere. You can't get away from them. And that to me is, it's no coincidence that that it's there, even in these nice videos, in the horrible videos. It's just there all the time, and that is a key to me. Those colours made it a lot easier to see what I was looking at, because I was following symbolisms in the background, and I was following the numbers as well, and then the colours just kind of broke all that down for me, and then so I feel like it takes you right deep within the fakery. Then you can work your way out trying to show people who still believe in the symbolism and not the colour. So I'll go, right, see their hand signs, just to edge them that way towards how it is fake, And also with those symbols and stuff, like you see, they're obviously put there. So we see them just, it is another sign of it's fake, but people don't believe that. You see someone doing this, that it's a sign of lies and stuff. But it's no coincidence, it's always there.
Yeah.
I think people they have a very hard time accepting they've been lied to, accepting that essentially their life is a lie. For me, I was like, nothing really made sense for me, so this fits more than other things. But I just think I think that this makes more sense to me than everything else that's been like shoved down my throat, growing up. But yeah, I think people just kind of need to embrace it. And with the line of purples, it's like, once you see that, you cannot unsee it. No. I feel like it's, since I've been following you in Human Vibration, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah. Even if it's the tiniest bit in the background, it's still there, And someone tagged me the other day on like home videos, asking me like, remember the home video TV programs, and it was like all the audience laughing in the background. He said, what do you think about them then? And I had a look, and it's just all purple, even like the ones that are over here from like back in 1995 when I used to watch them. It's all purple,
Well, even that, we brought it up in last week's episode. We did one on framing Britney Spears, and at the end we're like, it's a giant loose trap. But we were talking about like people just having their cameras out at these perfect moments. And yes, well, we like, again, in the 80s and early 90s, the America's Funniest Home Videos, like people had their camera out. It was like some of these things we always thought, well, this has to be staged because they just randomly had, and back then where the camcorders were big and they were expensive, like you just happened to have that running for no reason. I was a kid and I was questioning that, and I'd be like, okay. But especially now, like we were saying, we went out, like we'll go out for walks, and I can't get my camera out fast enough if there's something happening. So just regular things, it just, I don't know, it's hard to believe that, oh, you just happen to have a camera out and caught this moment. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's all part, to me, I feel like that all again, it's all part of conditioning us, so that is what we think is real. So it's a home video, it must be real, but really it's not. And I feel like this technology of this indistinguishable footage is always been there. You know, it's always been there, and it's kind of coded with the purple. You know, you weren't looking for the purple back then, and
Right.
when you look back, unless it's all gone now or been over printed kind of purple, but I really can't see that because anything I look at, whether it be 9/11, the Vegas, it's always purple, you know, all the way through. Even on like your Netflix programs, like these documentaries, even there, all the murderers wear purple t-shirts and stuff, you know. But your eyes were never trained to look for that, you know.
Right.
Because even now, I show people in my life, and they're like, well, people like purple, you know. But that's not the point. It's only on TV. That's my thing.
Well, that's what I said to Human Vibration with the lights of purple. I was like, my two favorite colors are purple and green. And I was like, is my life a lie? You know, like, does this mean my life is an illusion? And then I have the counter, you know what I mean? Because I joke, like I've said it before, like I'm like my spectrum, I'm either like total love and light or total darkness. And I try to work on the balance. And I'm like, is that the purple and the green? Like the two opposites?
Yeah.
But like with the magenta and everything. But yeah, we were talking about like if you see somebody wearing purple out on the street, it doesn't necessarily mean something. But when you see things constantly bombarded on social media and the news, that's the sign. Or these documentaries.
Yeah, of these, like also like with the JFK assassination, for instance, that is another one. So like we can still watch that online now in such a sensitive world. We can still watch his head get shot in the head. But if I went outside and I cut my hand, or if I seen something like that and I uploaded it to the internet, it wouldn't make it on there. It'd be removed in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And that is because we're only allowed to see their production, and that we're conditioned to that. What they're showing us with the JFK with the pink next to him again there.
Yeah.
We can only see what they have produced for us to see.
Yeah.
And that is another example with JFK. What are the chances we can still watch his head get shot explode on camera?
Yeah. Exactly.
Why? Because it's fake. That's why we're allowed to see it.
Yeah, and it's funny because that's one of the things growing up. JFK was how I got into conspiracies and how I started looking at all that kind of stuff. And there are so many theories around JFK and who killed him, who assassinated him. I've read so many books. I've looked into this forever, for as long as I've been alive. And the only thing that actually makes any sense is that the guy never existed, that it was all fake. That's the only way any of it makes any sense, that it was all a big production to trick and fool everybody and to just control people. Because we're still talking about it now. It's like you said, we can still watch his head get blown off. And why? Why can we see that, but we can't, like you said, if there's something real, it will get yanked offline real quick. Because
it's all part of the illusion, isn't it? And all these theories about the JFK, they keep it real. They keep the story real. That the Umbrella Man and the grassy knoll, all these theories, all keep the story real as to who done it, who was the killer. Not that there was no killer. Yeah, and there was no killer, and the event didn't even happen, and it was all part of an illusion. So yeah, I believe people seen a car driving down the road and those crowds and stuff, but nobody's seen him get shot, only on screen. Just as the 9/11 planes, you see, nobody's seen the plane, only on screen.
Right.
And before you know it, you believe it because that's what you're being told.
Yeah.
So, and people, when that happened, will remember exactly where they was that day and stuff. The same with me with 9/11. I remember exactly where I was. It scars our mind, doesn't it, really? And leaves a mark of that day in your mind forever, really.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mass trauma. That's what I mean.
Mass trauma.
Mass trauma. You get most everybody that has a TV or a screen nowadays, especially where almost everybody has at least a phone. You've got everybody. You've got everybody. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I'm trying to remember. So I was a bartender when that happened. I was going to school, so I went to class, and then I went to the bar I worked at. It was an old Irish pub, and we had all our regulars. And I just remember, and this is gonna sound awful, but I'm like,
So are more people going to come in today? Is it going to be less people? And it was kind of an average day, but I just remember like everyone was so weird and the energy was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just like, and people want to watch the news, and I'm like, I really don't want to, but it's what they want. But yeah, just the energy, and you have the hope, you have the heroes going in and doing all that, so you have the hope, but then you have all this mass trauma. You have people who become afraid. People were afraid to fly. You have all these fears building up, and what can you do? You can control people with fear.
Of course.
Yeah, and tighten security on the whole world. Like I was having a conversation the other day. It's about some Murph, for instance, believes it was like the towers was collecting energy from the sky, and that is what he believes the reason why they may have been blown up. But I was thinking about the energy from that day changed the energy of the world from that day. Everyone was scared from that day of flying, and then it also put the divide with Muslims and stuff. It brought up so many different things. This Islamic terror attack. It all birthed that day,
It was brainwashing too, because
Sure.
if you think about the mentality, how people all of a sudden hated like Middle Easterners because of that, it's like it created this like instant hypnosis, instant brainwashing. It's just this programming that is so quick and instant, because it's like you're getting bombarded over a short period of time. And it's just, to me, it's like hypnosis, where you're just in a daze, because like when you're in shock, you're easier. It's like you're in that brainwave stage. So it's like you're already there. Okay, now let's program, let's put everything in for what we want people to think, how we want people to feel.
Yeah, and they've removed a lot of the footage offline. You can't find any of it now unless you watch like the documentaries that were already out. And when I've watched one of those, I watched one recently, and it's so funny when you to think that at the time we believed that there was a plane that went into the building. When they show it now, it's like a ghost going into the walls.
Yeah.
It's like, again, it's conditioning, and it's like trained us to believe that's what happened that day, and it will be talked about for years to come as well. So by up and coming generations will also say, "Oh, 9/11 happened when you were older. When I'm a granddad or whatever." The grandkids will be asking me about 9/11. It'll still be there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mass trauma.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's
Yep.
insane. I want to switch gears a little bit, because I want to ask you your thoughts on things that we don't know if it's really real or not. And we kind of have our own beliefs on things, but cryptids like Bigfoot and aliens and things of that nature. And I'd like to hear your input on that and what you feel.
I believe it's all fantasy. So it's just keeping us in fantasy all the time about what's out there and really it's us. I feel like everything, it stops our minds thinking for themselves, basically. So we're always thinking and believing stories that are put out for us to follow. So we're believing like in Bigfoot and aliens and stuff, instead of thinking for ourselves. We've never in our lives had the chance to think for ourselves, really. From birth, we've never had that chance to come to our own beliefs about our own life, really, because it's all influenced by our sources like aliens. It's all to make us feel kind of insignificant on Earth, and we don't hold any power at all, because there's other things out there that are more magical and all this stuff. And I feel like that is it. It's what I think with that is that our beliefs have been taken away from us from birth, so we've never had the chance. And they fill it with Santa Claus, aliens, flying rocks in space, just all sorts of stuff, whatever they want to show us, really. And we just believe it every time. Rockets taking off and stuff like that. I don't believe any of that happens. Basically, it's all to keep us locked in fantasy about anything. Like with music, for instance, like you always get these catchy songs that you don't like, but the next thing you know, you're whispering along to them, and it's just all to keep your brain busy all the time. So it's never thinking about you. You're never thinking about your life, you're always thinking about, worrying about, I need to pay the bills, or I need to do this next. You can never concentrate on yourself ever, and then you've got the news influencing what's going on. Your mind is constantly busy with what's been put there. We've never had our own thoughts, the chance to be our own human species. We've never had that, in my opinion.
So what do you do to clear your mind? Like, to remove all the chatter, remove all those busy thoughts? Like, what do you do? What do you find helps you?
I like to meditate. I like to sit in silence. Everybody has a different way of meditation, but I just like to sit in absolute silence, no phone, no interruption. I'll do like 45 minutes of sat in silence, just thinking, trying to clear my mind of everything, and that brings more peace again. Because to start with, your thoughts come to the front of your head in silence, and the next thing there's nothing left to think about, and that is where I feel like they don't want us, really. They don't want us to have our own minds, really, and clear our subconscious of all these horrific thoughts they've put there, and to make that they've put in there for us to believe as an instant answer about, the space, because they've told us the space, and there's aliens, there must be aliens, because we're in a universe and we're flying through space. It's all, to me, now it just all seems like fantasy, and the meditation does help with that as well, just to clear your mind that it's all rubbish and I'm me, That's kind of where I get from it. Is like, I get peace in knowing that. I might sound crazy to a lot of people, but I don't care. That is the best. For me, that is the best thing. I don't actually care if anyone thinks I'm crazy, because I'm happy and I'm at complete peace with what I know. And I don't know for sure, but what I believe I know.
Did you ever care about what people thought of you, like when you were younger, or even kind of like in between, like even just before you started realizing everything was fake? Or did you really have to come to a point where you're like, I can't care anymore?
Yeah, because I used to try and keep up with fashion and stuff myself, and trying to get the best car and all that myself. And then when this all hit me, honestly, it just dropped off me that I didn't care anymore about any of that stuff. None of that matters anymore. The only thing that matters to me is my mental health, my mind being my own. And that's all to me now. That's all what matters, is my mind.
Yeah.
Healthy mind keeps everything else healthy.
I brought it up, I think it was last week's episode. That's okay. Don't worry.
I feel like
Oh, I'm gonna wait.
Oh.
What kind of dog do you have? Hi. Oh my goodness.
Awesome.
Hi.
The
He's working veterinary medicine, so I'm like, I love animals.
I've got a couple of dogs.
Oh, hello. Hi. Like, I want them all. I want to pet them. So, as I was saying, I think it was last week's episode, I had brought up that for me personally, growing up, you're brainwashed, you're programmed, you're told like what you should do, how you should be, how you should look, especially for a female, like this is how you should look. So I had a very distorted self-body image. And in last week's episode, for our watchers on the video, I put a picture of me when I was like 17. I think I was like 17 or 18 years old in a swimsuit. And what I looked like, I thought I was fat, overweight, and flat chested. I'm looking at myself like, damn, I look great there. But because you're so brainwashed, you can't see things as they really are. Even if you're looking right in the mirror, you're just so programmed. And you're programmed like, I have to put on this illusion that
I look like these celebrities on TV, and that's what it goes. And now we've got Instagram models what are not real either. A lot of them aren't even real, in my opinion.
Yeah, we brought up like society is putting this on people. Like everyone has this, like social media has allowed people to see into others' lives, but you're not really seeing. You're seeing the illusion they want you to see. And so it's
Yeah.
not real. And then even if somebody puts themselves out there like, oh, I'm such a hot mess, that even comes off fake sometimes. It's like, are you doing that to make me feel better? Because it's a little over the top and exaggerated. It's hard to see just normal people because everyone, and I'm not saying everyone, but so many people feel like they have to
Have an
keep up the
image, yeah.
illusion. Yes.
And they have all the work done and all this stuff, and it's all because of celebrities and these influencers online, and everything has come back to that. Like, even kids now with the TikToks all doing the same dance, basically got everyone being a zombie, basically just copying what they're seeing on screen. Like, even kids dancing to the same as the person on the screen. It's
Yeah.
they use the screens for everything, in my opinion, to influence, and it works. It works every time, until you see that it's fake. But not everyone will come round to that, I don't feel.
It's hard because one thing I've learned over the past year too is like celebrities, we put them on a pedestal. Like we just raise them like they're better than us because what they can act.
Yeah,
You're in front of me and I have to put up with you and watch you. And you might not even be a great actor. You might not even be good at what you do, but people watch it and they adore you.
It might not even be real. It might be. I believe the actors are also the A-list. These A-list actors are actually also playing characters. I believe there's a small amount of actors playing all these actors within Hollywood, And I've done something on Paul Walker. Have you seen that? So Paul Walker, do you remember Fast and Furious?
Yes.
So they brought him. He was in a few movies before then, and they brought him on the really big on the scene with Fast and Furious, didn't they? And then he died in this car crash in his dream car, and this racing car. He died. The similar death to what is linked with the film. This race car, this speed demon, and then he dies in a car. And with him, when in Fast and Furious 7, they recreated him, so he was dead, and they recreated him digitally. And he appeared in the movie, and no one would have knew if they didn't tell you that they'd done that. So for me, that was a big clue again that these people can not even exist, only exist on our screens. And they said they used his two brothers to make him, and then that hit home. And that maybe he was always made from these two body doubles and created into the one person, which then become Paul Walker for the movie franchise. His death then boosted all the movie franchise, and he's up everywhere. And I've had people say, well, I've met Paul Walker, but yeah, you've met the actor Paul Walker, but you've not met Paul Walker. You think you met him, but you met somebody playing him in a planned public appearance.
Right.
And that's where I feel with that. And there's a movie called Simone, and that kind of brought a lot. Have you heard of that movie?
Yes.
I've heard of it. We haven't seen it yet, but I definitely want to check it out now.
It brings, because I believe in truth in movies as well. So I believe they always show us the truth in the movies. And within that movie, it was about a digital actor that never existed, and they made her a star. And towards the end of the movie, the people wanted to meet her and stuff, and he got body doubles in to cover for public appearances. And then to kill her off, they just ended her career by drinking on TV and doing drugs and all that. Just as they're doing with Tom Hanks, for instance, that they're ending his career slowly but surely.
Yeah.
He'll be hated by the public, and then they'll take him off the scene, and they basically just delete him.
Yeah.
And they deleted Paul Walker while he was massively loved. So imagine the energy they got from that, as well as the boost in the movies and stuff. And that Simone brought all this is where I get the actors of digital from, is because I was thinking all this before I seen that movie or I've heard of it. And when I seen it, it just hit home like it's me inner knowing just felt like that's it. How could it possibly be that I was thinking all this stuff, and then I see this movie, and the guy in the movie is actually called Hank as well. It's like all there.
we really believe that they put the truth out there. It's for us to catch it. It's on us to see it, to find it. Like they're like, we're telling you, we're not flat putting it right in front of your face, but we're giving you the breadcrumbs. You have to follow the trail and figure it out. And so like we'll pick up on things like when it's like they're telling you it's fake. They're like telling you, you're just not seeing it. You're not realizing it.
It's always been there, hasn't it? It's always been there. People say to me, are they getting sloppy with what they're doing, and that's why you're seeing it? And I don't believe they are. I just believe it's always been like that. Only now we see it, and they can't stop us from seeing it. They know we exist. They know we're here, but they can't stop us from seeing it. You know, and that's another thing. I feel like why am I still on Twitter? Why haven't I been deleted? You know. And I feel like that's part of it. I'm saying people aren't even dying. Why am I still there? I'm not saying they're drinking adrenochrome or anything like that, and that gets you deleted. I'm saying these people don't drink adrenochrome, and they're not even real people. So why am I still there? You know?
Yeah.
That keeps me thinking as well. Like there's something in it that why myself, human vibration, and Murph, why are we still there? You know, we're not swearing or anything, but we're saying worse than these things by saying these people weren't even real. They didn't even die because they wasn't even real, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing too, that I wondered that myself. I'm like, how their following's growing.
Mm-hmm.
There's more people following them and they're saying stuff. And I'm like, wow, like stuff that blows my mind all the time. I'm like, how are they not kicked off Twitter yet? Have you ever even got like a strike or suspended or
nothing
anything?
at all.
Have you ever noticed a loss of followers?
Yeah, in this when Trump when I got hit with the purge a bit, and then it's just come back again. So it's and one of my first, like, I don't write many threads or anything, but my first one was like all these people in the news that aren't real, and like even the little stories you'll see, and it's always a computer generated space that's used in little stories. It's just basically showing me that everything we see on the news is fake in mainstream news. And say, for instance, we was hearing about like if we hear about something that's going on in America, it's because they want us to know about it. Like, why aren't we getting our own news that we're hearing about? And the same with you guys. If you hear something that's going on in the UK, it's because they want us all to know about that particular story. You know, George Floyd, for instance, that was another one. Why was that so big? And when you look at how they all come back to each other, so they're all kind of linked. So like with the Twin Towers, the plane hit the towers at 8:46, isn't it? And then with George Floyd, the police was on his neck, 8:46. So it's like and then he even brought a documentary out, 8:46. It's like everything is connected to each thing that goes on, you know, and it's undeniable in my opinion.
Yeah.
The policemen, the police guys that was kneeling on his deck, they was in court on September the 11th last year. So it's like, what are the chances it's all so connected like that?
I mean, that whole thing, I know I remember seeing pictures people posted, I don't know if it stayed up very long, different angles from what was going on. And you could see it wasn't anything that they showed. It was like, this isn't what we're being showed. But then it's like, I go back to find it. I couldn't find it anymore. So I don't know if it was just taken down, but like people would like, so I'm like, was that done on purpose to get us thinking? You know what I mean? It was like,
yeah.
I believe
that was filmed in a studio. I believe it was like a mixture of CGI and acting, the whole event really. And nobody will get in trouble for it. When it does come to the policeman or whatever going to court, nothing will come of it. He'll walk away. I took more for the energy of people getting angry that he's walked away.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah, I completely agree. That's something, honestly, I've never watched that George Floyd thing. I've only seen like the still photos. I've never actually sat and watched it because I just didn't care to. Because I just thought, why would I want to watch, if it was real, why would I even want to watch this? Yeah. Why would I want to watch somebody getting killed? Why would I?
Yeah.
So I've never taken the time to watch it. Mm-hmm. Even after, I saw still photos and people posting it's fake.
But it makes you wonder, like
what? I just didn't want to give my energy to that,
But when I see that stuff, I always question now, like, okay, well, is that real? You know what I mean? I'm like, just question everything instead of just going like,
Hmm.
oh, well, this says the opposite. Because I find that so many people, if they find something that goes the opposite, like if they believe something and they find something that goes with their belief, they're more likely to push it, but they don't stop and say,
Definitely.
okay, well, I want this to be real, but is it? Like they're not taking a moment to just stop and question it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where I don't say these things are fake just to be like different or opposite. I believe they are fake, you know. So and I'm always open to be proven wrong or shown something that might make me think, "Oh, actually it could have been real," but I feel like I've seen that much that there's nothing to, even with every event, it just seems to be too many things in there that you can point out as well. That's not natural, you know. That shouldn't have happened. And even like down to like this Tiger Woods crash the other day, it was so fake, you know. And people say, "See, well, why would they fake that?" And it's entertainment. We're all talking about it again. You know, he rolled his car in rolling hills. You know, what are the chances that he did that? You know.
Yeah. It's insane. I've for the longest time I've been saying, I think it's on my Twitter, my what was the tweet at the
The
top.
pin tweet.
I say it's all a work, meaning everything. And a lot of people that follow me, like people that I knew from when I was in pro wrestling, they think I'm referring to pro wrestling being, everything's a work. No, I mean everything is a work. Everything's fake. Everything is produced for whatever reason by whoever is looking to get a reaction out of you. So yeah, it's just that's how I've been looking at it, especially for the last couple of years. The last 6 months, especially, everything to me is fake. I can't enjoy movies anymore. We got rid of cable. We haven't had that for the last couple
2
years
years,
anyway.
I think.
But
3
like
years.
I sit now and I can't put on the TV to enjoy anything because I'm like, it's all fake. Like even anything that's presented with the lens of being a reality, it's not reality. Nothing
See
is.
the hidden messages in all these movies and stuff now. Can't you can see they're trying to push agendas with everything, you know.
Everything.
Like Willy Wonka. We watch it with the kids and it's like, yeah, he's in all purple and what's he doing? He's deceiving people, you know.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just like
Yeah.
I see that everywhere. Like I'm the same. You can't watch a movie without like, look, that's what it's for. This, you know, I just can't sit down and watch a movie and enjoy it without picking it apart, you know, myself as to why they would make this movie. And a lot of the time, it's like with these Corona movies and stuff, they was pre-made to subconsciously get us to believe that if there's a virus, it can kill us all. And that's why a lot of people, and then it's the top of the Netflix choices, you know, as the Corona come out, all these films go to like the top picks on Netflix, you know, all by design for anyone who hasn't already seen them will now watch them because they hear people saying, "Oh, it's got coronavirus in that movie," and then you watch it and then you see people dropping dead off it, and even if you think it's not real, like, or that's not how what a virus would really do, when it actually comes out on our news, subconsciously you've seen that happen, you know, and you believe it. You accept that we could all die from it, and that's another example of how they do this predictive. It's called predictive programming, isn't it?
Yeah.
I feel like that's what they do with every movie, not just one. And they can bring this up. There's probably movies out there now that are going to come to the front when the next situation happens with something else. You know, they're not ready yet to be pushed up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, Alex brought up a good point with George Orwell's 1984. Do you want to share your thought with that?
What was my point? I'm trying to remember now because I say so much stuff and
He
I
does.
forget.
He says a lot. It's too many concussions.
Stuff.
You brought up because everyone's saying like it's 1984, the book is coming true.
Oh yeah, we're based. Yeah, okay. Stuff like 1984, like the book. It was put in public schools, so that was like required reading for people. And I almost think that was a predictive programming so that people can recognize now when they start to roll some of this stuff out. Excuse me. They start to roll some of these things out that they have on their agenda or whatever. And we subconsciously, those of us that have read that book, which is a lot of people now, can go, oh yeah, it's like 1984, and they just kind of accept it because, oh yeah, and it's
And
almost like
it's
we're
like a
bringing
power
that
to
to life.
government, like this big, powerful government. That's kind of what the book's about, isn't it? The government controlling everything, and we're accepting that now. Oh, it's just 1984, you know, and like I say, it's predictive programming. So we accept all of that in that book is what actually is happening to us now.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's just all. To me, it's just an illusion. It's all illusionary of like illusional power, really, that we've allowed them to have through programming us into believing that that's what they are, you know.
Right. Right. Now, I got a question for you. We've been saying now they. Who, in your opinion, who is they? Who do you think they is?
I believe it's a small group, smaller than what we're led to believe. So they give us out all these George Soroses and Bill Gates and all that, and they're all just that because I feel like they're playing the part of the villains and stuff like that. And they, I believe, is just like I've seen this said a few times, but like the Wizard of Oz, just the man behind the curtain, just doing the illusion. They're very good illusionists, and they use the screen to conceal the illusion, and that is how they get away with it. Everything, when you think about it, everything comes from the screen or from the radio. Everything, so whoever's in control of that controls us. It's very clever how they do it, but they also have like illusionists like David Blaine and the Dynamo and stuff. And I believe they have these people put out on us on purpose just to see what they can actually still get away with, you know, in front of our faces, really, you know.
Yeah.
And people believe in these illusionists, and I believe that they is some form of illusionist. Not. I don't believe in magic or anything. I believe in illusion and the screen to conceal. If you look into the definition of a screen, it's to conceal somebody or something, and that is exactly what it does. It does its job to conceal the illusion. And you know, if you look on Twitter now and going back to them cute videos, you look at the comments, and everyone believes in the illusion. The illusion works every time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is who I believe they is. And there have been other theories, a lot of heard of they being us, because we're bringing that, we're being shown the screen, and we're bringing they to life, you know, through the screen. So they could just be a computer that, so like the simulation kind of theory, it's just putting out this stuff to us based on our searches on the phone and what we're looking at on social media. And now we're just part of the algorithm. We're feeding it all the time, and it's giving us what we want. As for even the colours now, that is feeding us those colours. We're talking purple, right? The computer's picking up on the use of how many people are saying that's it. They just keep putting more out for us to see, you know. And part of me feels like that is also a possibility, that when I heard the simulation theory, that's how I kind of look at it, is that us being on social media, us having our phones, our iWatches and everything, we're feeding that algorithm to give us what we want.
Mm-hmm.
So you can talk about anything, talk about a new table or something, and you'll get that popping up on your phone 2 minutes later to sell it you. So it's like that is also proof there that there is something of a computer picking up on what we are looking into, you know, and it's basically giving us what we want.
Yeah, almost like we almost like we want to be,
like we're manifesting it.
Yeah, we're manifesting all this stuff. Yeah. It's as plausible a theory as any other one I've ever heard. It's a good hell yeah.
So that is a good one. They could well be us, and we're part of this simulation system, really, that's been set up for us with this technology and stuff. Yeah. And they've had the technology all along, and it has to come out slowly to fit us in the right times. You know, when we're ready for it, they release it.
Yeah,
so we're all part of it. We're all like cogs in the computer, really, like ticking it over. We're all feeding the system to give us back. We're putting in the energy and stuff, and that's giving us back out what we want from it. You know, whether it is good or bad. And that's where I believe like the manifesting of stuff comes from. You know.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, Yeah, it's insane when you think about it. But especially like you were saying, you think we've always had this technology. I feel the same way. I feel like all this stuff that we're seeing now, it's been around. It's just they slowly, like you said, when they feel the need to use it, or they've conditioned us to accept it, is when they roll it out, and when we start.
That's it. I believe when we've been conditioned to accept it and they've used it on us for so many years without us realizing, then they allow us to have it, like the deep fakes and stuff like that. And that also keeps you from looking away from the people who are completely fake and you believe it's just a CGI overlay onto a body double. And really, the whole thing is fake. In my opinion, the more things I look at and you read into movies and stuff, and how many movies are made in full CGI that they don't even tell us about,
Yeah.
And there is one that they do tell us about. So if one can be made full CGI, like there's one recently with Tom Hanks in it, and it's full CGI, and the only reason is because they tell us. And if they can do it with that, what means they haven't always done that? And it's just like a revelation of truth, getting it out there, and people wouldn't believe it anyway.
Yeah.
People would say, well, only that one film was CGI. They told us that because it's unbelievable how many people do believe everything they're told off these celebrities off TV, and you're mad for going against it and saying it's all fake, and the reason we've got the screen is to brainwash us. You think you're mad, I've been laughed at for that, for saying that. But in my opinion, it's the truth. Like the only reason we've got any of this equipment is to keep us under control and brainwashed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Makes sense to me.
It's hard because I'm more of like, shut off your TV, go outside, be in nature. The earth is real. Like what's around you is real. Like go out in nature. Really connect. But then, we have a podcast. And so we use that as a media outlet, if you will. We have Twitter. So, we have to promote ourselves on social media. Yeah. We got rid of our Facebook account, 2-3 years ago?
Oh, I've been off Facebook for
years.
A long
time.
Longer
than that, yeah.
At least 5 or 6 years.
And we had an Instagram. We finally got rid of that. So all we have left is Twitter. I think we created a Minds account, but we really, I don't know. It's kind of Twitter's where most of the action is. But the irony is like, I don't want to do any of it. I don't want to be on social media, but yet that is how we found you, and that's how we found Human Vibration.
Yeah. So it has got some positives of having the social media to connect with people who are thinking like this, But then when you go on, I left Facebook myself about 5-6 years ago, and what I get told about it now is it's just so mainstream. And if I was my friends on it, and he said if you used to go on there and write what you write on Twitter, the police would come and arrest you, They'll bring the police on you, They're that brainwashed with it,
Wow.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Another thing to think of, what do you think of what the Earth is? What do you think we are? I'm not talking like flat Earth or round Earth. I'm not really like that's never been proved. But I believe myself, it's got to be bigger than what we're told.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I think we're in a part of what Earth is, but we don't know how big
we're cut off, we're limited. And I think outer space, there's something, but it's not what they're telling us. There's something on the outside, but it's not what they're telling us. So it's part of that, I'm not sure what exactly how it's configured, but I just don't believe the Elon Musk thing, the whole we put a car in outer space, and we're watching this, nobody believes this, right? This is a joke.
People believe that. Oh yeah.
I thought it was a joke. I thought it was a joke. I thought it was parody. And then people are like, no, it's real. And I'm like, you sure about that?
Didn't Elon Musk, I think he even came out and said, it looks so fake. That's how you know it's real, or something. He makes
so they're mocking us with it, really, how fake it is.
Yeah.
So Elon Musk, I call him.
When we talk about how they show us and give us truth in movies, thinking about the Earth, right? That show on HBO, the Game of Thrones, how they have the ice wall, right? what if that's what we are? We're in like the area, and then the other side of the ice wall. Is there more? Is there more land? Is that what Antarctica is? Is that
Like
why
a borderland
nobody's
or
allowed
something?
to go there? And
Like,
there's like
that's what I think. Is that where the aliens come from, or are they just other from another? Because you can call an immigrant an alien, you know. So is it an immigrant from another civilization? And then they show us these documentaries of these untouched civilizations and stuff. Is that just the truth that there is out there a whole other civilization that doesn't know about us? Because we can't fly wherever we want to. We can only fly on government airlines, so you can only buy a ticket to where they allow you to buy a ticket to.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just go and fly over wherever you want to go. Like, let's say Antarctica is a real place, for instance, and there's an ice wall where, like there's no way we could go, right, I'm going to go and fly over that ice. We can't. So we're only allowed to go where they tell us we can go. So that leads me to believe there's something else out there. And also, it's another thought here. This is just a theory. When these, like, say, a Kobe Bryant dies or whatever, how do you hide this 7-foot guy or whatever it was? It maybe just goes to the other,
Outside.
Yeah.
On the
the
outside.
other civilizations.
yeah.
Like we
And
were
kept up
watching,
there.
we were watching the Truman Show with our kids, and we were just like, it's probably that we're telling you what it really is, you know, like you're in the movie, and you know you may not be a major player, maybe you are, but there's more. There's more than what you're actually seeing. There's more to life than what you're being shown and what you can reach. There's something beyond that.
Yeah. And like I say, we can only go where they allow us to go, which is a big thing. If some people say, "Oh, I can sail my boat all over the show" or whatever, which I've had someone say that, but you can't really, because they'd have it protected, or there'll be something where you will reach a point on Earth where you can't go there, whether you're on a boat, a plane, or whatever. You'll reach a point where there's a border, or you just can't pass.
Yeah.
And it's hiding it's hiding it from us. And that, like, with the alien thing, like, I believe that those documentaries on these civilizations outside of that have untouched, I believe that is the truth myself. That's just my own personal belief, is that they're telling us that there's something else out there, and we're only in a section of the Earth.
Yeah. Again, I mean, it's as plausible a theory as any other one. Yeah.
It's difficult because I know we're not being told everything. I know we're not being shown everything. I know that there's something more. And it's a matter of, you know, figuring out, like, do I need to astral project to go find it? You know, how am I going to get there? Because I was like, what if I learn to, like, get my pilot's license and I rent a plane? It's like, they'll shoot me down, you know, if I just keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, and that makes me believe, like, they give us all this they basically give us everything anything we know is being given, and that is where I feel like maybe this human being is more powerful. The mind is more powerful than we're led to believe, and that is why they have to keep it full of garbage basically at all times.
I agree.
We can never really know our true potential, because it's just filled with rubbish. Even now, like, I believe it's all fake. It's still, I'm believing things are fake that we're being shown. So that stuff is still being put there and reminds us we've not had our own thoughts of no TV, no media, no nothing. I'd love that experience, really, to know what it would be like.
Yeah.
So as a child, you probably have the healthiest mind you could be, really, aren't you? As a child, like the purest human at your youngest age, and then they just get you from there with Santa Claus and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's what happens, because so when I was little, I used to, like, I could feel people's energies, and, like, I used to hug everyone who I felt like they needed it. And one of the things is I remember, like, oh, you can't just go hug people. And I just felt like that's what they need. But then there were people who I got a bad feeling from, and you get, like, pushed upon, oh, no, go say hi, go talk to this person. And you get this feeling like, no, I don't want to. I get a bad feeling. But I feel like as a child, you know, like, I used to see stuff. I'd see, like, it was like a white sparkly, and I think it was energies. But you see things like I was friends with trees and rocks. I felt the energy. But then society tells you, no, that's not normal. You go to
Yeah.
school and you're like telling the teacher, yeah, like there's some like white sparkly stuff around you. Like you don't know what exactly it is. And they're just like, no, 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 I don't know. You're mistaken. You kind of like they try to push you in the box. So when you're a kid, everything, you're just who you are. But society, the kids around you, they're like, no, that's not normal because they're being, programmed. And I think that's how we lose our spark, like our sight,
Definitely.
our understanding of things because we're conditioned, we're programmed, we're brainwashed.
Yeah, and we're brainwashed to police anybody who thinks out of the norm. So like you're always under like a social, like even now with the maths, for instance, it's being policed by us, and that is the same with everything I don't believe. So like you've seen stuff in the sky, whatever. The kid next to you is automatically programmed to think that's weird or mad, and that's how we then it's spread out of us basically, to believe then what the rest of the class believes,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. I have to ask, growing up, were you the kind of person who kind of went against the grain just naturally? Like if you didn't feel something, you were just like, you'd speak out about it or you just wouldn't partake in it?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't really speak out about it, but I always felt a bit different to my friends, as in like they was into like trainers, cars, and all this stuff, and I'm like just doing it because they was, like I always felt like I wasn't that interested in it, and I knew that I hadn't found what I was really, really interested in, and even hobbies, as I used to play football and stuff, and it was more just because like that's where I got took as a kid, so that like my parents took me to football practice, so I just carry on playing football. And then you just carry on because your friends do it and stuff, really. And with this, what I'm doing now is like, that does come on my own. I don't know anybody who's into it or anything. And it's something that I really, really enjoy. So it's the first thing I've done in my life where I've made my own decisions that I want, and I don't care whether people think it's mad or anything. And I've done it on my own, as in, I want to look into this, I want to look into that. No one's told me to do that. And that's what I feel like I'm at my happiest at the minute, I've made that choice on my own, no one's influenced me to do it. It's just off sensing something wasn't right. And then I've been led to where I am today with it, where everything's fake.
But what you're saying is the moment you started being true to yourself,
Yeah,
you started being happy.
yeah,
See that,
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is it. That's the truth of it, really. When I was true to myself, that is when everything drops away from me as like materialism kind of stuff. And not like, I wouldn't say I followed the crowd, but I still watched football because my friends was watching football or anything. And it just comes like that. And so you're never really fully invested in it. I was just watching it just to everyone else was, at the time, like I'd go to the pub and watch a match or whatever. Like really, I didn't enjoy it at all,
But you care about the people, so you just go with it.
Yeah, you said it best there. Once you're true to yourself, that is when you find the happiness, and you have to not care about what anyone thinks really about what you believe. Because all we really own, is our beliefs. We don't own anything else. If you took everything off, all we've got is a belief in something, and they fill it with. They try to take that away from us as well, our own belief, with religion and just something to follow. And instead of our own belief, we don't get the chance to follow our own belief. And I feel like that's what I do now. I follow what I believe, and I don't really care what anyone else thinks. And
that's awesome.
Couldn't be happier.
Yeah, that's great.
I think that's great because like we try to teach our kids, go with your gut. If your gut is telling you something's wrong, just go with your gut, regardless of what anyone else is saying. Like we're trying to teach them to be in tune with what their body is telling them, what their spirit is telling them, and not to overthink it. Just like if something doesn't feel right, it's because it's not right. And it may be just not right for you. It might be fine for everyone else, but you got to go with what's true to yourself. And that's one thing like I've learned over the past few years is just the more I allow me to be me, the happier I am, the better I feel. I've lost a ton of quote unquote friends who I never really felt like I fit in with anyway. That's okay. I think people are meant to come into our life for a reason. You know, everything should be a lesson. And, you know, what do we learn from it? Don't get upset. Just what was the lesson?
Yeah.
And the more you're like, then you start realizing, okay, now I'm being really honest about who I am. And I'm, you know, speaking up about how I feel about things. And then you start attracting people who think the same way you do. Yes.
Yes.
We said it with human vibration. Your vibe attracts your tribe, and you start meeting people. It's like, okay, so I'm not crazy. Like, I know I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true, and it's satisfying to know that it's a real thing, that the vibrations that attract the same frequencies as what you're on. You know, and that's where I feel like I'm at the minute. It's like through Twitter, I feel like I've spoken to people on Twitter, and I spoke about things I could never speak to people who have knew my whole life about, you know, and I feel more comfortable talking about these things because people in my life think it's crazy, you know. And like you said yourself, I've dropped a whole lot of people because I don't see not that I have anything to do with people who need them, but they're bringing negative vibes into my life, and that is what I don't want, you know.
Yeah.
Anyone who's like giving any negativity towards what I believe and stuff, I don't need that because I believe it regardless.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that's difficult for people is you can not agree with somebody, but you can still be on the same level. Like, oh, okay. Like, I feel like it's more about being just open. So like we tell people, like, we just want to put information out there and you do your own research and you come to your own conclusions. But at least if people just step in with an open mind, no matter how they feel going in, just listening and saying, okay, I'll hear you out. And then maybe you can hear me out and we can have a discussion. Like, that's huge. But so many people, and I think it's part of the lower vibration, just like put up a wall of, if you're not agreeing with what I say, then no, I'm not going to let anything, you know, come through.
Yeah, and people get angry about it and stuff like that. And that's why I really started my kind of page, because I made it how I do now, Joe. So I'm kind of showing people that I'm not only saying it's fake, I'm showing you how it can be fake and why I believe it is fake with prosthetic CGI and these computer generated faces. I'm trying to show examples of they've got this stuff, they show us this stuff, and it's there. And that is kind of what I'm not telling anyone to believe it. I'm telling people, I'm trying to show examples so people can look at things with a different eyes, you know, and think, actually, I've seen that on Rambo's page like that, and it looks very similar. And that's why I kind of post these prosthetic masks and stuff. Because, like, when you look at Joe Biden, for me, is one of the obvious ones as well. Like, what do you think of him? Like, when I look at him, I only see a mask. I might have trained myself to see that, but I've never seen a person look like that in my life. And that's why I kind of press on him with these masks, because he's the most obvious one, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And they seem to be trying to make it really obvious as well that it is a mask.
That's what I get the feeling when I see him as well. Like, are they trying to make us think he's fake? Like, to me, it's so obvious that that's a mask or it's CGI or something. It's not a real person. And there's people that have done like side by side photos of him from, I don't know, the 80s and now, and it looks like a completely different person. It's weird.
That's the thing. Like, are they doing this on purpose, or do they think nobody's going to notice? That's what I don't get. I
think it's always been this obvious myself. But when you think about it, all of us on Twitter are seeing it and stuff. But when you think about it, that's every conspiracy theorist in the world pretty much. And it's quite a small group when you think about it, because everyone kind of sees everyone on Twitter like with past different profiles.
Right.
And so really we're quite a small group, so it's not enough to care about. And they've got us all contained there on Twitter to give us what to misdirect us anytime we like, really. So they've got us all under control in a way. apart from the people who believe it's all fake or see it's all fake, because there's nothing they can do to convince us otherwise, you know.
Right.
Hey, a lot of it, I'm just like, oh, okay, and I'll question stuff, but I'm like, do I really care? No, I don't care. Again, it's that apathy. But when I have that apathy, I'm like, what is that telling me? It's not real.
Yeah.
Kind of
And that's what some people say to me, why do you bother with it? And my thing is, honestly, why I put these things out is because I want to help people feel what I feel. And that is the only reason I continue to do it. I'm not trying to like be this mass awakener or anything. I'm trying to make people feel what I feel, because I've been there where I've been angry at these things and I've felt affected by them, and they have affected my life, as in like I'm always talking about, oh, have you seen this? Like anything like 9/11 or the planes crashed into the building, and we've got to be scared of Muslims, and they had a Manchester bomb over here, and everyone was scared of Muslims. And I was like, not real, you know. And I want people to feel that, because not only do you not feel anger at what you see, you then drop the anger towards groups that are being set up to be targets, and a division scheme's going on at all times, and you're no longer divided from any community or anything. Once you see it, so but you just need them to see it as well.
Yeah, I think you do an excellent job just presenting a different perspective. It's just a different way to look at something. And then again, people can make up their mind. You know, if they choose to believe it, they choose not to, or they don't know, whatever it is. But at least you're putting a different perspective out there for people to look at. That's how I view it. And I'm appreciative.
And they might not believe it that day. It might take a while for them to see something that I've posted and think, oh yeah, I've seen that a while back, something like that, you know. And that's when it hits home, and that's why I kind of keep my posts regular and kind of along the same line, so people can spot what I feel like I'm spotting with it, you know. And I've shown the example that it can be done. So just because you're seeing it and it's presented as real, it doesn't necessarily mean it is.
Have you ever had any negative interactions with people on Twitter? Like, has anyone ever like been so upset about the perspective that you've shown where they like verbally attack you or accuse you of anything?
Yeah, loads of times. But with the main one, what I did was there was a Manchester Arena bomb over here. Do you remember it with Ariana Grande? And I've done a thread on that and how it was fake, and I've posted videos on how it was fake. And I still now, that was a while back, and I still get comments now on that saying this profile needs to be taken down and all that stuff. I get that all the time. But when you look at the evidence I've put, and then you look at the videos that are put, it's undeniably fake. And I live right where it happened and stuff. And there was no one got it on camera. And everyone has their phones out. Not one person got it on camera. It seemed to me everybody heard the bang and nobody seen anything but what they told on the news. And then I went through. That was like quite a big one for me. I went through numbers then. That's like got me onto the numbers. What, like 22 people died on the 22nd of May, and the bomber was aged 22, and it happened at 22:33, which is a specific number. And earlier, that was an Islamic attack. It went down as. But then 5 years before that, this is what made another link for me. There's an army guy, Lee Rigby was called, and he got ran over by a purple car, and his head hacked off in the middle of the street by this Islamic guy. And you can still watch it all on YouTube now. And that happened on the 22nd of May, the same day, at 2:20. So it's again 22, and his girlfriend was doing all the talking, was aged 22. And then I linked them all together and looked into it. The reg on the car was 666. It's like, and then yesterday there was an airstrike in America, wasn't there? Airstrike Syria, an Islamic country. How many people did it kill? 22. It's like the number 22 is linked to Islamic attacks. And Human Vibration done a little search for me. Said, I can't believe it. It's all 22. The Paris one. If you type in Islamic terrorist attack, death, always 22 people all the way up. It's like so obvious.
Jeez.
See, I don't believe in coincidences. I think it's either synchronicity or it's done on purpose. So
Yeah.
I don't think that's a synchronicity. I think that's done on purpose.
Wow, that's nuts.
That's
so
insane.
22 is always linked to some kind of an Islamic terror kind of
Yeah.
thing?
And if you Google what the number 22, it's down as the master builder number. And the more I've looked into it, it's the master builder number of fake events and staged events. And that's how I see it. And it seems like those numbers, you've got 9/11, then you've got the 22s, and then you've got your 33s. It's like those numbers build in power as we go on, or they mean different. I'm still trying to work out where they're popping up, but I have got the thing that 22 is always linked to the Islamic attack. And I imagine if we see anything in the future with Islamic attack, you're going to see the number 22 there, definitely.
That's just nuts.
It makes me want to pay more attention at everything. So I'd be like, whatever. I'm gonna be like, okay, what day is it? What are the numbers?
Jeez.
Yeah, and there's numbers popping up in all football and stuff over here. I've done a couple of football predictions just recently, and I couldn't have predicted the scores if it wasn't fixed. Now I got it. So I had a Man City game. I had one where the Manchester City played Liverpool over here, and they were playing as the away team, Manchester City. So on the day of the match, the mascot, it was in the news, the mascot died at age 104. And so I said the match is going to end 4-1. I give someone the tip on Twitter, and it ended City won 4-1. So there was a way, and it come up. The score was 1-4. So if you take away the 0, it's 104 right there, 4-1, City won. And Liverpool hasn't lost that score to City for years, you know.
Well, you're saying like sports are fixed, and there have been beliefs that
I've always believed that.
Yeah, football, American football, and boxing. Boxing is a huge one for they always talk about the fixed games, the fixed fights, things like that.
I think with boxing, I feel like that's why we get the WWE. So we think that is what fake fighting looks like, and they make it obviously fake, so that we think boxing is actually real, but at the top, it's fake as well. And there's quite a few videos. Myself and Murph posted a video on Mike Tyson, and I advise you to
watched
definitely
that.
watch that. It's great.
I watched it. I'm just like, what the hell?
Yeah, it leaves it undeniable. It leaves that undeniable. And even with the symbolism, have you ever seen like the one eye symbolism, what these celebrities do? And Mike Tyson's tattooed on his face, the one eye symbolism right there. He's showing his in on that. It's his, in my opinion, that's his like thank you to whoever's put him on, really.
Yeah.
But that documentary opened my eyes for way more with Mike Tyson, especially. It left me undeniable that he was a full-on actor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I was involved in pro wrestling for almost 20 years of my life. So for me, that's why I think a lot of this stuff for me, it clicks quick because I can see right away the mechanisms that are used.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, I mean, on a small scale, I was involved in trying to fool people myself. People go into a wrestling event, they know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
They know it's predetermined and everything, but the job of the guys that are going and putting on the show is to try to get the people watching to suspend their disbelief.
It's the energy.
Right. So I can see now all these different mechanisms that are used, and for me, it makes sense. What drives me nuts is when, like, I have my friends that are still involved in wrestling, so people I still talk to who just don't get it. And it's like, dude, you do the same thing, just on a small scale. Just think of it out of wrestling. Think of it on a mass scale. And it's just, I think it's so hard for people to wrap their mind around the fact that literally everything we watch on a screen is produced.
Yeah.
It's there and presented to us the way that we are meant to see it.
Mm-hmm.
It's none of it's real.
Well, I was going to say too, think about the energy. Like when we would come out, so we worked together before he stopped wrestling. Of course, I'm the career killer, but whatever.
Anyway.
But so we would come out. And so when he was a heel and people hated him, I just remember I come out with him and like people started hating me and they would be like screaming and booing and I hate you. And there's that energy, or if you come out and they're cheering, there is that energy and you can feel it in the air. And that is at like a local indie wrestling, right? Wrestling match. Imagine if you get that kind of energy across the world with something, with 9/11, with a bombing, with these different things. The electricity of that energy on a small scale, you can feel it. Now magnify it to millions. What can that do?
Yeah.
That's building a charge, you know?
Yeah, and everyone's watching it and they know that it's fake, but they're still very, very invested in it. And like you say, I hate you and all that, and they know that you're acting and you're playing the part, and they're still genuinely feeling that anger and hate at you, aren't they? Or the love for the hero or whatever, and it's
so strong. Like there
goes back to wrestling.
Yeah, like like it's so strong. Like there's a moment like some girl was screaming she hated me, and I'm like thinking, but I'm really a nice person. And I'm like, wait a minute, you know, it's fake, Monique. Don't let it get in your head. But if you only got to know me, but yeah, it's just there's so much energy, and that's a small scale.
I just wonder. We talk about the energy and loosh and everything. What do they use it for? What, like, is our energy, is that what keeps everything going? Is that where, you know what I mean? Like that's.
I believe that they must. There's feeding on it some way, and whether that they use it to say it might keep them alive or so, I don't know, something, or it might run the simulation, our energies, you know.
Yeah.
That is another theory, but it's like it's going somewhere, and I do believe that the harvest energy with events and with, like you say, with the wrestling, even it's all entertainment is getting some form of, not only is it dividing people, football, rugby, whatever sport you like, is divided. So there's that. So then you've got the hate towards the other fans, the hate towards the other team, the love when you score. It's just constant. There's just energy everywhere, and that is the big question. What do they do with it?
To visualize what it feels like to me is like we're the hamsters on the wheel, and as the wheel's spinning, it's generating electricity going somewhere. But because we're in the little cage in the hamster wheel, we don't know where it's going. We just know it's going out somewhere. That's what it pops in my head.
And we kind of get our vibrations online as well. And if you look at it, we're online on the World Wide Web.
Yeah.
So we're all caught in the web online even, and they're getting our energy that way as well. So wherever we are, whether we're on an event, on the screen, wherever we are, there's constantly energy coming from us. But that's where I'm at now. I don't feel like they get that from me anymore. That is a thing. I can feel it, that they don't get that energy from me anymore. Whether it be happy, because I don't believe that's real, and then whether it be sad, I don't believe that's what Joe. I feel like I can see through both sides as not being real. So I can feel the energy stays within me, and that is why I'm happy and peaceful. And that to me is like evidence that they're not getting what they want from me. I'm not part of they're not harvesting my energy anymore, you know. They've had it.
You're like, it's mine. It's all mine.
Which is awesome.
Yes.
That if anybody listening or watching this can take anything away from this conversation, I hope that's what they take away. Being true to yourself and just not caring what anybody else thinks, and just finding your own happiness.
Yeah.
Isn't that what life's all about?
Don't give your energy off to others.
Yeah.
You keep it. Yeah.
Yeah, we've all got our own forms and of what we believe happiness is, haven't we, really? And I'd never looked at thinking of everything being fake being a way of being happy, because it's seen as negative to say everything's fake. But again, that's what they want you to think. That's what they want us to believe. Is you're saying, oh, that's fake, that's fake, that's fake. You're a negative person, but it's a complete opposite. Yeah. I've never felt more positive in myself and my beliefs than I have at this current day.
So awesome. That's great. Yeah. When we were talking a minute ago about harvesting energy and everything, I was thinking, and I may have seen this somewhere, and it's just popping back into my head, but I'm looking out my window right now and I see my neighbor's house, and the way that the roof is at like a, comes to a point, right? Kind of like how the pyramids are, they go up to a point. And I wonder, is that why our homes in the majority of the world are shaped that way? Because
Yeah,
how our energy goes out and up into the atmosphere, into
that's a
wherever.
great point. That is a great point. Why are our roofs all kind of shaped the same? And then the pyramids, like there's pyramids all over the world, but we only really get told about the ones in Egypt, don't we?
Exactly.
So I think that's a good point. That could be somewhere where it may be going, or something. There's something to it, like a lightning rod, that collecting it all, or something.
Yeah.
There's something to it, and like you said yourself, you can feel that is the reason that it is about energy. Everything is about energy, and the others believing it's about money, and like we're all chasing just basically paper, like paper, and that, and again, your energy's in that, as in like you've not got enough, or you're working too hard to get. You just constantly your energy's being that, whatever your interest is, whatever you're doing, we're all tied down by the paper that was put into society. We're all chained. So like I don't necessarily believe like in a heaven and hell kind of thing, but when they depict hell to us, it's all people digging down or whatever, and that's us now. We're all chasing the paper, basically digging for paper.
Yeah.
I think we should just bring back bartering, not just because it eliminates money, but think about like the value that people will feel like, oh, I can offer something and I can help somebody by offering it, and somebody else can help me by offering something they can do. Like,
Yeah.
that's what I think. Like, let's all work together. We all have different talents, we all have different skills, and let's work on helping each other. Like, I put it out there, like, I have an Etsy shop. People want to barter. I'm totally open.
Yeah, and you could imagine how friendly the society in the world would be if it was taken out of the system is money. We'd all get along a lot better. Everything would be traded. Everyone would help each other out, whether they could right now because money's been there. I don't know, but it's just a bit weird. They can put paper into society and make it valuable. But if I could print the exact same paper, it's counterfeit.
Yeah.
It's like you go to prison for printing exactly the same as what they've got. So it's kind of it keeps us all. That's like the thing that keeps us all in like a bondage, really, isn't it? We're all tied down by money, wherever we are in the world. That rules us, and that's the whole point it's put into society. I believe that we imagine we didn't have it. I believe we'd be a lot happier and a lot more helpful, and
Yeah, it goes with their illusion. Oh, well, I have
yeah,
more money, so I have more value because I have the fancy car. I have the fancy clothes. I have the fancy house. And because
I
you
have
don't
more
have,
power.
yes,
Mhm.
and you have lesser value because you don't have the fancy house or the fancy car or the fancy clothes, regardless of if you want it or not. It's like that, again, society judging
Yeah,
and
and
that.
that's why they're always telling us like, oh, Elon Musk, the billionaire, and all that stuff, because it gives him power over somebody and something to aspire to, and really it's just the illusion of what they've given us, paper, that we can aspire to have that paper, not be like that guy who's wise over there who hasn't got loads of paper. You don't want to be. You want to be like Elon Musk and Bill Gates, and put power on the name, so it makes their opinions want to be heard, and their opinion is more powerful than say my opinion. It all down to the billionaire put on the names, and that's why you're always telling us how rich these celebrities are. Because I think that's all part of it. It puts a big influence
Mhm.
over what we think they are. We think that is success, and we don't believe that being happy with who we are is actually success. Because to me, that's what success is that being happy with yourself. That's the most successful person. It doesn't matter what you own in material possessions or paper. Doesn't make, in my eyes, that doesn't make you successful. it makes you, for me, it makes you successful if you're happy with who you are and what you believe and what your morals about life. Really, it's nothing to do with what you own, but we're shown completely different, aren't we? We were led to believe from birth, like, oh, I want to be a footballer because they're rich and famous and all. And it from young, we get you with it. We get you dreaming straight away about being rich.
Yeah. Like my dream is I just want to help people. I want to be a good person and help people.
Saying that is all, that is my purpose. And when you help someone, you do something good for somebody, you feel an energy then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is an energy there, right there. And same as if you've ever been nasty to somebody, you feel bad after it. Well, I do. Anyway, if I've been nasty to someone in the past, I feel bad about it and I think about it. So again, that's energy again coming from me. But you can't beat the feeling of doing something good for somebody. You know, that feeling that you can't buy that. You know, it's a special feeling.
Yep, 100%. Yes, exactly. Oh my gosh, this has been an awesome conversation. Thank you so much. Before we wrap up, is there anything else that you want to share with our listeners that you want to put out there?
I think the colours. I think people need to take these colours seriously. The purple. So I would ask people to just start to look at things, and if you see purple, whether it looks like it's supposed to be there, and just keep trying to see how many times you can see it on the news, especially on the news. And the more times you see it, it becomes like no such thing as coincidence. That can be on every single story that's on the news. And I'd ask anyone who's a bit skeptical of colours be meaning anything to just look out. Don't try and work anything out. Just follow the colours of, wow, that's purple, that's purple, that's purple. And the more you see it, eventually it just opens up and you start to understand it without anybody explaining it to you. You start to see why it's being used, and I believe I see why and when it's being used and its purpose, why they use it. That's what I feel like I've come to that understanding myself, and then between me and Human Vibration have discussed like trying to like train each other with it really, you know, and what we think it is. And I feel like I've come to the conclusion that the colours are, for me, are the most important thing to see the fake world that we live in, and how it's all scripted. It's basically put out through our energy. Seeing those colours, you see what kind of energies they're trying to extract each time. You know, like why it would. Because you see the colour, you see the fake. That's what I would ask anyone to look for those colours. And I can't stress that enough. It makes a big difference. Whether you believe, oh, it's talking rubbish, it's only purple. The more you see it, you start to see it's not rubbish.
And you can't unsee it.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, you cannot unsee it, and it changes it changed my, in a way, it changed my life, really. It changed my whole personality, you know, because then you can see it's all fake, and you find the peace. You do find the peace in those colours. You can find peace.
Well, we're glad that you did, because again, you and Human Vibration, that's how we found you. You saw something and you spoke your truth and you put yourself out there, and because you just didn't care, you believed in yourself. And I think that also should be a great message. Like, believe in yourself. If you believe something is true, believe in yourself enough to put yourself out there if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, that's it. You've got to believe and trust yourself and trust your beliefs, and that's it. You find, as you said before, once you're true to yourself, you find happiness.
Exactly.
And that is what happened with me.
Yeah.
You find peace and you find happiness.
Yes, so we're so happy we found you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, because now we get to share your perspective with other people. And then when we start talking about something, they can understand a little bit more about what we're talking about and not be like, what the hell? Like, what do they keep going off about? So thank you.
Yeah, I hope it makes sense to listeners, really, because I understand that I can go off on different. I feel like I've got that much stuff in my head. I can go different ways at any minute.
We do it all the time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, our listeners are pretty used to us, like, you know, going from one thing into like all these other things, and eventually we come back around.
Without fully explaining what I meant, I can just go off without fully explaining what I meant originally, you know, and that does happen with me, you know. trying
It's
to
a
get it all out.
conversation. It happens.
Exactly.
It goes where it goes.
It
And
does,
that's
and I
it.
love it. Rambo, thank you so much.
Thank you
Everyone,
for having me on.
thank you. Everyone go to Twitter if you're not following him already at Seek the Truth 101.
And we'll put all that stuff in our show notes as well.
Yes.
Rambo, thank you
thank
so,
you.
so much.
Do you have an Instagram?
Thanks for having me on.
Do you have any?
No, I'm just Twitter.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. Much appreciated.
Well, that was fun, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was really great. Yeah, just for people that are listening to this, we do this on video as well. So Rambo was not at all what I expected. I don't know. I didn't have really a visual picture in my mind of what he would look like because all he has is an avatar on his Twitter handle. And when he first popped up on the screen, I was like, okay, what a pleasant looking dude. Like,
Yes.
like a good looking young man.
Yes.
Very pleasant, and the one thing that really stuck out was his smile. Like he just radiated like a real positive, joyous type of energy.
Well, I was gonna say his
feel right?
his energy. It was awesome for me. It kind of matched in a certain way the same energy as Human Vibration when we spoke with her, and yeah, it just. He's so sweet and he's so kind, and the things that we were talking about, the things that we were saying, and he was saying like when he, just decided just to be himself, just to be really happy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like so many little gems that like, if you missed it, go back and listen because I'm gonna take like clips of it so I can put it out there so everyone can just hear these gems of what he said. He does this because he wants to help others, and it's so thoughtful and selfless to put yourself out there, and be able to not care, but to do it because you just want to help other people. I think that is so awesome.
Yeah, just the way when he said that he's happy and he's truly happy, and the reason that he's doing this is because he wants to put this out there so he can help people to feel the happiness that he's feeling and to feel like the overall joy and freedom that he's feeling. I was just like, wow, like that's badass to me. Like that's
it's so awesome.
That's so like I wish I could just reach out and shake his hand, but obviously you can't do that on the Zoom or whatever we're using there on the computer.
I was like energetically hugging him, like you're awesome.
Just like somebody that I would love to just sit down and hang out
yes.
with. You know what I mean?
You know what? Because it's people like him where you can just sit and talk for like hours.
Yeah, and I mean, and after we finished recording the interview, we talked for another good about half hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Just kind of shooting the breeze, and we'll definitely have him back on.
Absolutely.
Again, and
we're planning something else in the works.
Yeah.
Fun.
So you'll be hearing more Rambo, and just a great guy.
Mm-hmm.
Just a great guy.
Yes.
And really, to me, spreads a great message.
Yes.
Stop believing all the nonsense.
Yeah.
Just look within, because that's where you're going to find happiness. Gotta love it.
Well, we hope everyone enjoyed this episode, and we hope that it resonated with people either one way or another. And
yeah, absolutely. And another thing that I keep forgetting to mention this to you, but I went back and I don't like listening to myself talk or anything like that. But I did go back and I listened to a couple of the earlier episodes that we've done and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing just the stuff that like you and I were saying not even 2 years ago,
mm-hmm.
and just our evolution of our thoughts and our feelings and stuff, just how much we've kind of changed just since we started doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think I like that we're able to do that. And I like that we're not married to any particular belief system. Like we're open enough to be able to take in all these different ideas and concepts and things that people have, and not just entertain them, but really think about them.
Yeah.
And I feel like really good about that, I guess.
Well, I just look at it like, we're always trying to learn, and we're always growing from that. We're not going to refuse to take in information because it goes against something we believe. If there's good proof, if there's good information, if it resonates with us, and that's the thing. We're not stubborn. And I think too, over the past couple of years, we've also grown as individuals, and we've changed in our own ways.
Yeah.
We started this podcast just talking about what we want to talk about and trying to work in the wrestling gimmick. And we kind of were able to finally drop that and just kind of be, again, getting more used to being yourself, being like, screw it, I'm putting myself out there. And it's more comfortable about, doing that kind of conversation instead of, working, playing a character. Not that that's what we did the whole time, but just certain points.
Yeah, especially some of the earlier stuff.
Because I'm a blonde, yeah.
Yeah, that kind of
That's
nonsense
funny.
that we did. Well, it's like anything else. You gotta throw stuff at the wall, see what sticks, right? I don't know. Anyhow, so that was a great chat with Rambo, and we'll definitely have him on again.
Absolutely.
For sure. And just the stuff that we were talking about after we got off the air, I was like, damn, I wish we were still recording some of this. But it's all right, because we're going to have him back on and we'll talk all about a bunch of other interesting things.
Yes.
So, before we go.
Yes. Let me tell people where they can find me.
Where they can find you.
Yes.
Please.
For my Etsy shop, Wonders by Monique, and my website, tarottbymonique.com. And I am on Twitter @_Monique Giselle with 1L _.
There you have it.
There you have it. How can people find you?
I am also on Twitter @TheAlexArion, because somebody else took Alex Arion.
You're the.
I'm the. That's right.
No messing around.
No messing around. Just one. Me. The. And also you can go to my website, alexarionfitness.com, and check out that goodness.
Yes.
And then for us, for the Homewrecker podcast, you can find us on Twitter.
@Homewrecker Pod.
We're also on Minds.
@Homewrecker Podcast.
And our website is
homewreckerpodcast.com.
There it is.
You can also find us on YouTube and Brighteon. BitChute when it wants to download or upload our videos. And we're trying out a new thing called Odyssey. So we'll see.
ODYSEE.com.
ODYSEE. Yes. So we'll see how that works out for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you can subscribe and like our videos, that always helps us out.
Helps more people find us,
Yes.
see us, hear us, and all of the...
Makes us feel less alone.
Right. That's
And
our
sea of
only
emptiness.
motivation here.
I'm kidding.
All right, then. So, until next time. And do we know what we're doing next week? Have we...
I think, are we going to do a special movie review?
All right, yeah. So we are going to do that.
I'd like
okay.
to.
All right, fair, fine.
Very special
So we're
movie.
we're gonna get away from serious, introspective, thoughtful, spiritual, everything is fake kind of talk for a bit. We're just gonna go back to a fun movie.
Should I give a hint and see if anyone gets it?
Don't do it, my hummingbird. Don't do it. I can't do the accent.
Hummingbird. I can't do it without
I
laughing.
can't do it. I can't do the accent.
Off the bus.
So we'll be back next week with a movie review. We're just gonna do another Homewrecker movie review, talking about. Just give it away. Just say it.
Con Air.
Con Air.
You
That's
know
right.
you want to listen and watch.
Oh, wow. Good times.
It's gonna be so
Good times. So we'll see you then. Until next time, I am the Golden Greek Alex Arion. See, we say we dropped the wrestling gimmick, but I still use the damn wrestling name.
Yeah, because
It just feels natural now because I've
Stay
been
golden,
there for
baby.
so long. So whatever. I am the Golden
I'm still your
Greek.
trophy wife, but that was before wrestling, so
Yeah. Right.
yeah,
Yes.
because it's real.
That's real life, baby. That's real life. Until next time, I am the Golden Greek Alex Arion, joined as always by my beautiful, lovely, gorgeous, amazing trophy wife, the lovely Monique.
And you've been listening to the Homewrecker Podcast.